what is the ideal future on-off ramp set up to truly bank the unbanked? And the second part, I really think that this has to be one question is, can we decentralize on-off ramps? So, Joe, why don't you take a stab at this one?
Well, I think that in an ideal world, a lot of that on-off ramp would be somewhat like local credit unions rather than one behemoth company that tends to attract most liquidity. I think that having kind of more of local resilience is probably the ideal future that way. Depending on jurisdiction and changes and whatever external pressures are, it would be more resilient, right? So hopefully, as this industry progresses, we kind of move away from, let's say we have an industry right now, probably 80% of the liquidity goes to Binance, right? That's not so decentralized and not so resilient. So in my opinion, in terms of creating that type of ramping system, it would be putting together a model that works and trying to plug it in as a diverse and resilient a way as possible.
So what are your thoughts on that, Alex?
On banking the unbanked, you mean?
Well, banking the unbanked and also on decentralized on-off ramp.
Yeah. So decentralized on and off ramp is probably the most needed thing right now, right? For Ergo. I mean. Yeah, so if not most needed right now, then yeah, definitely needed and would be most needed in observable future. On bank the unbanked, yeah, this is still very much needed. But also, yeah, maybe the term is not proper, right? Because it's kind of top-down approach, right? So basically, like someone will create banks, right, for people still unbanked by using new technology, but actually it should be bottom up, right? So tools should be provided to replace the need for banks, right? If we are talking about places where bank industry is not working. Recently I saw a number for Central African Republic, by the way. So just 1% of population there is banked, right? So 99% needed for something different, right? And not for a new kind of bank, right? I think so.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I think the term itself is basically, it's more of kind of it's a marketing term, because really to explain it the way you did, which is actually exactly what it is, it should be a bottom-up approach. It should be a decentralized approach where when you're saying banking the unbanked, basically the connotation with the word bank is a centralized institution that does financial stuff, right? So, when we're saying we're going to bank the unbanked, to somebody who doesn't really know what the blockchain movement is about, they're kind of thinking, well, wait a second, so you're going to make banks for them, or you're going to get them into a bank, or make it easier for them to get a bank account? Well, no, it's the opposite. We're actually going to get them away from that, away from needing to be in that, juggernaut, centralized juggernaut that makes these big financial decisions for them without really much input or much say from them, and we're going to give them the power to access decentralized finance. So I guess you could say maybe finance the unfinanced, but then again, it's a difficult slogan to create to really to kind of really hit the nail on the head, because it's a complex problem, and it's going to be a complex solution, and we just need to really be prepared for that. That in one blockchain, one product is not going to solve all these issues. It's going to be a combined effort over many years of cooperation between ecosystems the ones that really will understand that this is what it's about, and will deliver solutions that will kind of plug in these holes and plug in this debt that is there right now. Say, one of the reasons why Cardano was so adamant about being in Africa is just like what Alex said. There's just so many people in Africa that don't have access to these financial services, and I mean, huge amounts. And so, what do you do? Do you create an even bigger banking? Do you boost the legacy system, which obviously was not sufficient enough to accommodate all these people, and it won't be. I mean, unless you print more money, and that doesn't work. That's the whole point. You can't print more money. So what do? Well, you create a decentralized economy that is not really that incestuously dependent on just one entity, one giant entity, like a central bank or a couple of banks. It's more decentralized. It's more it's more power to the people. I mean, that's really the way to do it. So let's maybe touch on the second part of the question here, Alex. So, okay, well, I mean, yeah, you said that we need a decentralized on-off ramp on Ergo. So how would one go about designing one? I think actually quite a few people are unclear on that, at least the ones that I've spoken to, when they say, well, you got DEXs, but you can't, but all these on-off ramps are centralized. How do you do the centralized on-off ramp? So what are your thoughts on that? What is the best way to get that done?
All right. So there are different tools already available, right? Like, from Binance P2P to and other services like HODL and so on, to BISC, right, which is already listing Ergo, but you need for Bitcoin to get ERG. So first you need to get Bitcoin with cash, right, from some local provider, and only then get into ERG. But even that could be quite good. And actually, there are talks on the forum on building a smart contract powered version of BISC, but then there is a problem with marketing, right, getting users and liquidity there. So it's kind of huge work, right? And maybe not even technical mostly, right? So there is chicken and egg problem here, obviously. But slowly but surely, I guess it's possible to get a lot of options to on-ramp and off-ramp, right, around the globe. well, in many places, at least.